Okay, category 3, the final frontier of our 3 categories here. So we have a video on the category 1, category 2, and now we're category 3. In some ways, we think of this as the most severe category. Usually a patient will present with a low back disc or a excruciating pain of the low back. This is the category where you have a patient leaning totally to one side, and in general leaning away from the side of disc protrusion. Although we need to do orthopedic test because you can lean towards one, but 90% of the time or 85% of the time you're leaning away from the side of the disc protrusion. There may not be disc protrusion, but what this is it's a rotation of the sacral base from L5. And since it's not an osseous misalignment, there is no TL to this. So this really differentiates us from a category 1 where one hand can TL to the PSIS and SI joint, or a category 2 where you have a one hand TL to the PSIS and SI joint, or a category 1 that requires a two-hand TL may be affected by the front or back of the hand. Category 3 has no TL. So in general, you have to challenge only to find. Also, a category 3 predominantly should have a weak hamstring. It can be hidden, but unlike a category 1 where it's hidden maybe half the time, a category 3 usually will have a weak hamstring in the clear, especially if there's a lot of pain associated in the low back. Then their hamstrings are not going to be working for them, thus causing a lot of instability and a lot more pain. So category 3 summarized, you're going to look for a bilateral hamstring weakness would be your first clue. So it could be either a 1 or a 3. Posturally, they're going to be leaning the whole torso away. So plumb line, the feet and the hips are on line, but the head and the whole thoracic region's off of the plumb line. Also, for a category 3, we're looking at usually inflammation and a disc issue going on. So on another day, we're going to talk about inflammation in the adrenals, and any itis really being an adrenal issue. So that becomes an important history. Basically, a whole desiccated adrenal would be one thing to look at 1 every hour until the pain seems to get better. And in general, you tell somebody to take up to 20 of these a day. After that, you might tell them, try that for a couple of days. If it's not working, then you got something else to look at. So category 3, you're going to have a patient laying on the table. So from here, with the patient, they're going to be face down, just like a category 1. Category 2, they're face up. Category 1 and 3, they're face down. So face down, you should have a bilateral hamstring weakness, right? Tested properly. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and reach around the front of the ilium, and we're going to take our thumb on the SP part of the SP of the fifth lumbar, and we're going to challenge the fifth lumbar in and pull the ilium as well. And then we're going to, we need to find a strong indicator, right? Because we're assuming it's going to be weak. So maybe we have a strong piriformis, and so we're testing a strong piriformis. Strong piriformis, pull the ilium, challenge the L5. If it went weak, the rule is the side of the L5 challenge, is where we're going to put the top block. And then we're going to start the other block on the top of the ilium on the front side. And what you do is then you put the knees together, and we're together tested. You're going to test them together. They should test strong, and you're going to ratchet it down where they temporarily test weak for a second and then test strong. Okay? So say we end up in this clockwise position. If it tests strong right away, typically you might have to go through different motions. If it tests right away at the very bottom, then you're not looking at possibly having to do, and there's nothing left to do. You're not going to go back up. Okay? So you usually just go down, or you go counterclockwise. So from here, you're just going to let them cook. You don't need to pump it or anything like that. If, with these blocks in there, the individual hamstrings should be strong unless there's another factor causing them to be weak. So you want to test them. If it's strong, then as a strong indicator, you're going to have to take a breath in. If a breath in makes it go weak, then you're going to have an expiration assist sacrum. And if a breath out makes the hamstring go weak, you're going to have an inspiration assist sacrum. Okay? Versus different than when we have a weak muscle that goes strong. Okay? There's a strong muscle that goes weak, say with a breath in, that's going to be an expiration assist. So with an inspiration assist, you're going to be at the apex of the sacrum, the bottom part. And as a breathe in, you're going to give a gentle 3 to 4 pound pressure and then release. Gentle 3 to 4 pound pressure and then release. That's the most common. An expiration assist is questionable whether you'd want to do that with a hot low back disc. If they don't have much pain, then you would consider doing it. And then you're going to be on the base of the sacrum. And on the breath out, breathe in. On the breath out, you're going to push down. So on the base, you're pushing down. On the a breath out, expiration assist sacrum. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, while the blocks are in here. When you think they're done, bring bilateral hamstrings together and test them together. They'll temporarily weaken. That's when you know you pull out the blocks at the same time. And that's your category 3. Oftentimes when you finish a category 3, you might then need to check for a category 1 or a category 2. They may go backwards in order and they may not. So just you fix what you find. And this is our basic category 3. We will also show you our disc pump procedure and mention that in class, and we'll go over that.